Happy Friday, sewing friends. Welcome to my channel. This is Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. Normally on Fridays I would post a Friday sewing school episode, but this week I'm actually going to preempt it because earlier this week my channel showed some amazing growth, and in the comments there were several people who asked me please to show my set and sleeve tutorial with clear elastic. So that's what this is. It's just going to be kind of short and sweet today. Before I get to that, cut to that video that I did, let me just tell you a few things. I am going to be recording like crazy over this next week to put new content up for while I'm gone, but while this has been a great week for watching my channel grow, it's also been a hard week for my family. My brother had emergency open heart surgery yesterday. He's doing very well, so these are happy tears as much as anything else. He's doing very well, but I'm gonna head down there he lives in San Antonio, Texas. I live in Ohio. I'm heading down there to help him recover. He and his wife, spend some time with them, and family comes first. But I'm not going until a week from tomorrow. So this coming week, I'm going to record as many videos ahead as I possibly can. I'm not really sure how long I'll be down there. I know it'll be at least a week. Possibly a little longer. If they need my help, I'm going to be there. So just putting that out there. So I'm going to put some new content in the queue, and I'll definitely have some downtime while I'm there to answer questions and comments, and all those things will all stay the same. But if I run out of videos before I come back and there's a slight absence, I just wanted you all to know why. My brother's a VIP in my life, so I'm going I'm going down there to help him, like I said, or maybe bug him. I'm still that little sister who bugs him all the time. But anyway, even at our age, he's doing really well. Got his breathing tube out last night. My niece said he was sitting in the chair asking for coffee this morning, so that's a super good sign. So we're very pleased at his outcome. It's just been an emotional roller coaster this week. So just to put that out there, so that you understand if there is a missing video at the end of all this, you know why. I will try to have at least 2 to 3 weeks filmed ahead before I leave, so that there won't be any gap. So anyway, here is the shirt that I was making when I recorded the video that you're about to see. As you can see, they are, I know it's probably not a great choice that it was black, but I think you can still see that these are very smooth set-in sleeves, no puckers, no problem, and the whole process is just awesome. How this came about, I started sewing with knits, which I know is backwards for a lot of you, but I went to Stretch and Sew. I told that story a couple of videos ago. Went to Stretch and Sew with my mom, and well, I didn't start sewing then, but that's kind of when my sewing grew. So I went to Stretch and Sew and I learned how to put sleeves in with knits, and they're just a breeze. And I had been doing them, with wovens, the old-fashioned way of the 2 rows of basting stitches and getting them all just right. And as soon as you get them all just right, you find a little patch that bunched up, and anyway, I just found that whole process really frustrating, and I still do. I'll do them that way. Sometimes maybe there's a pattern that I feel like I should probably do the old-fashioned way, and I will. I'm not against doing it that way, and my way is certainly not the only way, but it is an easier way. So if you hate putting set-in sleeves, this is the video for you. So I just noticed how easy that process was, doing the flat method with knits, and I thought there's got to be a way to do the flat method with a woven and have it be a lot easier. So I did the flat method with the gathers for a little while, and I thought, you know, wouldn't it be nice if you could just stretch that to fit like a knit? So I was messing around one day and I used some clear elastic. And I put the clear elastic on and it worked, except then I had all this bulk in the shoulder. But then one day the light bulb went on in my brain that, you know, the elastic doesn't have to stay there. So what you're about to see is a tutorial. I'll give you a few tips. I did cover this in the upcoming video, but I think it deserves mentioning. One, definitely zigzag just on the elastic, catch the elastic all the way around and keep it on the seam allowance. When you stitch it in, try very, very hard not to sew over the elastic, because it is a little bit of you kind of have to undo some stuff, and it, you know, can be a headache if you catch the elastic in your actual seam. So definitely keep the elastic on the seam allowance, and then I think you'll find it super, super easy. And then when it's time to rip, just slide that seam ripper under that row of zigzag, zip, and off it comes. Super easy. So I hope you find this tip valuable. I know it's cheating. I know that if I was doing if I was doing a couture garment, I would do it the old-fashioned way. I know that there's probably a lot of people who would never do this because they like doing things the traditional way. I don't think you would have to use the flat method, really. It's just the method I like. You could probably still use the elastic and insert them and, you know, stretch it to fit, and then pull the elastic out. I like doing it flat because I feel like I can see what I'm doing a little more. But, you know, just like there's, you know, I don't know, I'm in the world of photography for so many years that there's like a million ways to do one thing in Photoshop. So it's the same kind of thing. This is my way. This is the Kim way of setting in sleeves. It's not for everyone. I'm sure some of you would just think, oh, that's just too much bother. But honestly, after doing it like twice, it becomes just so easy. You just kind of have to know how much. You don't want to stretch that elastic too much, otherwise you get a poofy, you know, you get it poofing too much and you have to stretch it too much. You just want just a little bit of stretch all the way around, and it will make it so much easier to put those sleeves in. So with that said, I'm going to cut right to the tutorial. And feel free, as always, comments, questions below. Share this video if you think it might be helpful with someone. If you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell if you want to know when I add new content. And thank you so much for watching and subscribing to my channel. God bless. First things first, you're going to take a piece of clear elastic. I kind of went from notch to notch just to make sure I had enough. You can have more, isn't going to hurt anything. And then you're going to take your sleeve, set your machine on a zigzag stitch, and you're going to place the clear elastic right at the notch and approximately a 1/16 of an inch away from the edge. Put your needle down in, making sure that you're catching the elastic as well as the fabric. Hold it still and give it a little bit of stitch just to make sure the elastic is being caught. Then what you're going to do is you're going to gently stretch this elastic and sew it 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the sleeve cap. Which will just gently gather your sleeve cap. And the more of them you do this way, the more proficient you'll get in knowing how much to stretch it. You really don't have to stretch it all that much, because all you're going to do is use the stretch for ease. And then you're just going to stop when you get to the notches on the other side. You don't have to worry about locking the stitches or anything. Trim away any excess elastic. On both ends. I didn't really have any on this end, but on the other end I did. And get rid of your threads as well, just to get them out of the way. There's one more thread. All right. Then you're going to take your garment, take the arm side, and you're actually going to place this sleeve in just the same as if you were putting sleeves in a knit. You're just going to go ahead and stretch this to fit. So you're going to go ahead and pin it. It's going to stay fairly straight until you get to the notch. I find my middle of my sleeve cap. Actually, probably should have marked that ahead of time. I find my middle, so I know that's going to be where the shoulder seam is going to be, provided you didn't make a forward shoulder adjustment or anything like that. The pin fell out. Go ahead and pin that, and I'm going to pin it in another one or two spots. I have plenty of room to just hold this and ease it in. The first time I did this, I didn't know if it was going to work, but I thought, what the heck, I would try it. And I was amazed at how easy it made putting in set-in sleeves. This, which used to be my most dreaded job of sewing. So, my real most dreaded job in sewing is hand sewing, but nobody likes that. Okay, so once you've pinned it, then you're just going to go ahead and put this back on a normal straight stitch. And this pattern calls for a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, so I'm going to go ahead and sew that, making sure that I don't catch any of the elastic in the seam allowance, because that makes it much, much harder to rip out. Okay, I am just going to go ahead and sew this sleeve in. And I'm telling you what, it is so much easier. Stretching this elastic as I go, making sure that I don't get any puckers on this side of the fabric, because you want a nice smooth line there. So from someone who used to struggle with set-in sleeves all the time, I loved putting them in knits, and I thought there's got to be a way to make it as easy with wovens, and voila, here we go. The more uniform that you stretch it, the better off you're going to be. Get to the upper part of that sleeve cap. You want to be really, make sure you don't get any puckers on this, on the sleeve side. Keep all the gathering up near the elastic. Just pull it straight. It's been said for every task, there's at least 3 or 4 ways to do it. So I know that there are many, many ways to put in a sleeve. This is my way. And I actually think this would work, not the flat method as well. I think you could still put the elastic in and set them in the normal way. I like to do it flat. It's just easier. It makes the dreaded task so much easier. Okay, so I've got my sleeve sewn in. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this elastic, because nobody wants that bulk up by their shoulder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here by the light. I'm going to take my seam ripper and I'm just going to put it in that channel made by the zigzag. And rip. I'm at a weird angle to go fast here, but you get the idea. Just go along and rip it out. I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is also a good place to use that surgical seam ripper, actually, too, but I didn't get it out today, so. I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and rip this out where I can see it. It's hard to do under that light. Okay, so when I'm at the end, I'm just going to go ahead and pull that elastic right off. If it catches somewhere, you just go ahead and rip it off in that spot, someplace where I didn't catch the threads. All right, so my elastic is all off. And yes, I do have a lot of threads on my shirt. I'm going to pull them off a little bit, most of them, but honestly I'm not too worried about it, because as soon as I am done getting this seam together, I'm actually going to serge this and it's going to cut them off anyway. Now the moment of truth, obviously this isn't pressed or anything, but you can see this is a very nice sleeve cap with no puckers, and it took much less time and it was super easy. So there you go. That's my sleeve trick. Well, I hope that was helpful for you today. And I hope all your sewing endeavors will be wonderful. I would just like to remind you that I am gonna have some new content to put up while I'm absent this next couple weeks. I will be checking the comments and answering questions, checking my email, all those things. I'm going to record as many videos possible as I can ahead so that I have new content for you while I am down in Texas helping my brother. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a great weekend. Stay cool in Ohio, here in Toledo area where I'm at. It's supposed to go over 100 degrees today. And so I'm about to escape downstairs where there's comfortable air conditioning. I'm recording this in the morning. I usually do this in the afternoon, but I decided to do morning while it was still cooler up here today. So stay cool, or if you're in the other hemisphere, stay warm, and have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you Tuesday.